Oh, now we're live. Good. I wasn't talking to dead air. Greetings, James in New Mexico. How are you, buddy? I don't know if Gray's going to peep around. I'd imagine Bill's going to crack the surface here in a minute. And I got a special guest going to make a brief appearance here before too long. So, there's Mima's favorite. Mima always liked you best.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, them dulcet tones of Gray.
Yeah, I can't hang out too long.
Yeah.
Got to have dinner in a minute again.
I'm going to bring on a guest briefly here in a few minutes once they get a few things taken care of in there. And,
old Mr. I'm never late. Late again, I see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he keeps his clock set 10 minutes slow instead of fast. Bradazzle.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Bradazzle.
That must be a Texas thing, maybe.
Yeah, I'm hoping Splat Comics picks in because I'm about to show off $2,000 worth of beautiful stuff here shortly.
Okay. Yeah, Texas, they're big on everything apart from timekeeping. What, you got something new, or you just got something you want to swap with Splat?
Oh, just something old. Just something old pillaging off. I gave Mark first dibs on it, and he took a pass.
All right.
I'm going to let other people have dibs on it. Some of my oldest comic ephemera goes back to the 1800s.
Hi, guys.
We got a bill.
Late today. All right, mate. Hello.
Hey, Gray Man.
Hello.
Hey, Bald Man. Kidding, Kyle.
Well, I'm bald. I've been bald since 1988.
Crap.
Damn.
You want to hear a funny story about my 10-year class reunion?
Go on then.
I went back to my 10-year high school class reunion. And, of course, most people I went to school with hadn't seen me in that full decade. And in the twain, I went in the Marines and stuff. But when I got out of Marines, I started growing my hair back. Now, you've seen old pictures of me. I used to have big old blonde pompadour, just big blonde bushy hair. And went back to my 10-year class reunion, had my hair in a ponytail sticking out the back of a ball cap. And they're like, they do this contest. Hey, any of you guys losing your hair, come on up here and we'll see who wins. Whoever loses the most hair gets a fancy bottle of $100 Rogaine. And I'm standing up there with them, and they're like, "You're not announcing this. Go sit down and shut up. You know, your hair's so long, it's tied in a ponytail out the back there." And I'm like, wait. I'm going to go last. And these guys get up, and they're all embarrassed and ashamed, and they get these little widow's peaks going on, and little bald patches developing. And this is 1995. And I come up last, and the crowd's just kind of, because most of them don't like me anyway. They're just kind of meh. And I take my hat off. And mind you, back here, you know, I had a big old ponytail. I was just balding right here. Not a damn thing right there. Just, I was already that far gone bald. There was an audible gasp in the room, and then a big, loud applause, you know.
That's great.
Rogaine. And I looked at the other guys, and I went, I ain't going to use no damn Rogaine. Who wants this? You know, I don't need it. I can sell it for $100, but I don't need it. And it just shocked a whole room full of people because they were like, you know, I was all Mr. Hair in high school, and I didn't give two shits, you know. I went to a small town Indiana high school. So basically everybody thought they were Al Bundy. You know, I scored my 4 touchdowns and I did this, and, you know, I'm still a big fish in a little pond. I came back and I went, well, I ain't done much. I've been to war, been shot at a few times. I bodyguard presidents for shits and giggles on the side now. You know. And then they're all going, well, I still work at my dad's air conditioning company. I'm like, good for you. If that's what you want, good for you. But, you know, I don't play small town games no more.
No reason.
So I just kind of shrug it off. Now it's just packed full of Trumpers. I don't want to talk to most of them. I stay in touch with like a half a dozen people that are still decent human beings, but most of them.
Yeah. School reunions is not something we do over here, really. Not at least I never heard about them anyway. Got better things to do. You don't want to go back and talk to people you didn't like it in the first place. So we don't have high school reunions as far as I know.
Yeah.
I know I never did anyway.
So yeah, in the past week, geopolitically, the world's gotten rather fucked up. We definitely lean on comic books today. I got up Saturday morning. My first phone call was to Zlata.
All right.
Called her, made sure she was doing okay, got in touch with some other people in Israel. Then once I got done with all my Israel calls, I video called Johnny up in Montreal and woke him up. I said, "Everything all right, buddy?" And I broke the bad news to him.
I didn't know. I didn't follow the news. It wasn't until we started doing cover slingers on Saturday, and the sirens were going off, and Zlata's trying to judge the comic books. As I knew there was something going on. I didn't. I hadn't been. I tried to ignore the news because it's always just makes you depressed.
Well, a lot of that stuff happened down south, and Z's kind of far away from that. Problem is now Hezbollah's kicking off in Lebanon, and there was a skirmish went there today up north, so it's kind of two-pronged, and that poor girl's kind of caught in the middle of it.
And the sad thing is that there are innocents on every side of this, and and Hamas doesn't really represent the Palestinians, maybe by 35%, but they've been screwed over so long by Israel. And of course, Israel doesn't deserve, the innocent people in Israel don't deserve it either. But I'll be damned. I'm Jewish heritage, and I feel sorry for the Gaza Strip as much, if not more, than I feel sorry for Israel most of the time.
I think they need to take both of the 35% factions and just push them together. Push them together. You guys fight it out. Leave the innocents out of it, because it's just brutal. Everything about it's just brutal.
And I think Netanyahu is corrupt as fuck. They've even kicked him out twice for being corrupt, and he always comes back like a cockroach.
After his first break, one of the craziest bodyguard gigs I ever did was for Netanyahu here in Indianapolis.
Wow.
He was speaking at one of those, I don't even remember the name of them. They're right-wing Christian kind of groups. But,
oh, geez.
Promise Keepers. Not
crap.
I almost said Oath Keepers, but Promise Keepers. So, excuse me, Peyton Manning did a speech there, and we walked him from, he glad-handed some people outside, and we walked him from the car line into the building. We did a second layer diamond for Netanyahu that was so ridiculous. Probably the stupidest gig I ever did, honestly. Because there's 3 layers of security when heads of state or the like are moving around. And the exterior layer is the local police force and the FBI.
Right.
They're the exterior. They're the cushion in the crowd. The interior are the Secret Service, the bodyguards walking directly next to the person. The guys who don't wear bulletproof vests because, people think those John Wick bulletproof suit things are kind of funny fiction. Well, 15, 20 years ago, those were regular practice. The inside lining of these suit jackets were basically Kevlar.
Right.
Kevlar suit jackets, and these guys had Uzis and Mac 10s up under their coats, and they're in a circle around Netanyahu when he moves, and they put another layer around him, which basically were a star formation. They call it a diamond, but basically there were 5 of us in a star. about 15 to 25 feet out in 5 different positions. And basically all we were was target practice. Because we were armed, but we weren't like Kevlar or anything like that.
Right.
It's just a visual presence, but when it came down to it, we were nothing but target practice. So I am so ready. Let's get away from the so serious, because
yes.
Oh, let me get these hands clean. Oh my goodness gracious. Do you want to see yourself on TV? We gotta blow somebody up. We need to wipe her nose.
It's a baby.
We need to wipe her nose. Oh my goodness. We need to wipe her nose. Oh my goodness. Wipes her nose.
Wipe
you
your
need to
nose,
blow me up. Look, you're on TV, baby.
Wipe your nose.
You're on TV, honey.
She's on TV.
It's her first Halloween. Say it's my first Halloween. My first Halloween. You don't see it. You hear the sirens and you don't know where Newby went. But you haven't looked at yourself on the TV yet. She's usually so obsessed with like her reflection in a picture. Hey.
She's adorable.
I would take on the world for this little.
She wants to know why she's on the old fart show. She's like, "What am I doing on the old fart show? This is not correct."
There's just too many noises going on. There's
Welcome to the old fart show.
I've been
missing all this stuff. She doesn't see her reflection yet. She doesn't know she's on TV yet. You are so wonderful.
The old fart show is not for me, she's saying.
No, you were just not an old fart. Oh, somebody say, oh, what a big burp that was. What a big burp that was.
Help!
Was that you or her?
That was. Where did your Nini go? Where did your Nini go? Look who's on the TV. Oh, there's a big burp. There's the big burp. Oh my goodness, there you are. There you are. Oh,
I was trying to burp for her.
Did he make noises? Where did your grandma go? Where did your grandma go? You want to talk comic books, honey? Tell them about comic books. Say, my papa collects comic books.
My favorite are Submariner comics from the 1940s.
My papa collects comic books. He does. Always have to steal my kisses from you. Yep. The light of my universe right here.
Is that your son's baby?
It's my baby.
Uh-oh.
You just cannot figure out where Grandma went. There's just too much going on out here. She's going to take a break for a minute, I think. Just a star wherever she goes. Yes, Meemaw, she is. She is just a star. There you are. Now you see yourself on TV. You're trying to walk. She says, I'm 5 months old. I'm trying to run around the house now. I'm not even trying to crawl.
Put me down, old man. Let me travel.
Oh.
She's got more hair than you, mate.
Yeah, she does.
She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. They're calling you gorgeous.
Really? She's adorable. Look at those eyes.
You are so wonderful. You are so wonderful.
To me.
You are so wonderful. I don't know what your Nini is doing. I think she's taking a break. I told her only like 2 minutes. I wouldn't keep you on TV because your daddy's going to be here in a little bit. Yeah, and your daddy's going to come get you, but then he'll bring you back tomorrow.
Yay!
And then we'll get you Saturday, too.
Look at that, baby.
Say, I am Miss Haley, the most wonderful girl. I am Miss Haley. Say hi, Meemaw. Meemaw's watching.
Hi, Meemaw.
He says, I'm
wow,
hanging out with my papa. I'm so tiny. Oh, there you go. Touch the TV. Touch the TV? You see the TV? You see you on the TV. Oh, she sees you on the TV. You're on there twice. Oh, she's on there twice. She figured it out. I'm on the TV. I'm on the TV.
She's adorable. What is she like?
Is the most wonderful. So your daddy's going to be here. Oh, there you are.
Kyle, she's like 5 months old now?
Huh?
5 months?
Yeah.
Wow. Hi, Janet.
Say, I'm trying to talk, and I'm trying to walk, and I'm trying to be the big girl with my big feelings. Yeah.
Is she calling already?
Yeah. She says, I want to be big feelings. Say your first word on camera. Say Papa. Say Papa. Hey. Say, I got my Papa.
Say comic.
I got my Papa.
Hey, Lux Crucis, how are you today? And Bedazzle,
You watching the birds?
Where you're
you
at,
watch
but
the
I hope
birds
it's
with
good
Papa?
where you are.
Look over there. There's birds. Look at all the birds. Look at all the birds. Look. You're looking this way. Look all the birds. Look all the birds. All the birds showed up for you. See? You're like, nope, I'm on TV. I'd rather look at me. I'd rather look at me, Papa. I'd rather look at me, Papa. Oh,
or my Uncle Bill. I'd rather look at my Uncle Bill.
What is it? You hear the noise from the refrigerator and stuff.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Yeah. I am the Hey TV star. And little Mr. Alistair's so jealous of her. He's like, Papa, how come you don't dote over me like that? And it's like, I did, and then you got too big for it. And you're like, no, you don't need to tickle my feet. Give me 100 kisses. Oh, now she's mesmerized by all the birds out there. You see all them birds doing all that stuff?
How many grandkids you got now, Carl?
Huh?
How many grandkids you got now?
3.
Okay.
Her big brother, and then Alistair. Say, I got a big brother who's 6 and Alistair who's 11. Alistair's my daughter's son. And say, Uncle Tony's baby. You're little Tony's baby. Tony's our youngest boy. Oh. I lay claims to him. He's not my biological son. But he's got a good dad and a good rapport with his dad, so I don't try and take his place, but I'm Papa. I'm not Stapp Papa or nothing. They call me Mr. Papa. I got to give you all the kisses. I do. I got to give you all the kisses. But you're just so mesmerized by everything. This is what I do every downtime minute I get. I do. I just try.
Hello,
There I am. There I am on the show. There I am on the show, but I know Nene wanted a break, and I get it, but I didn't think she'd want her out here this long. Yeah. Oh, you got the burpees and the hiccups, honeys? You had a big bottle before you came out here, didn't you? Oh, yep, and you're spitting up, and Nene didn't bring no burp cloth? And didn't leave me a napkin or nothing? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I gotta do this blind. Nene. Yeah, you got some on your new outfit, but it's okay. You're just like, it's all right, Papa. I have big bottom. You are the star of the show. Okay. But I got to get you back in the house because you're spitting up on your new outfit, and I don't think Nene wants that.
You got anything new this week, Bill?
What's that?
Got anything new comic book related this week?
Let me go look if I do. I don't know if I do.
Well, there's me not showing my screen and two empty rooms. This is good. This is good. This is what we call grey mazing. Grey mazing.
Grey mazing.
Ah.
So this is the auction that's coming soon, and my friend Ivan Biggs is doing this through PBA, the auction house he works for.
Okay.
But they're auctioning off this guy in England. We may have talked about this. This guy in England, I think he's a film producer, music producer, maybe.
Yeah, he owned every single DC comic, didn't he?
Yeah, through like 2014.
Yeah. I thought they had that auction. I'm sure I remember that.
Ivan had some of them slabbed, but not all, not that many.
Yeah.
But they're going to offer the entire thing. They're the first. So he's tried to sell them 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
He tried to sell them for like something ridiculous, like $500 million or something. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I heard a lot of low grade as well. A lot of the.
Well, no, but there's some really good grades. But mainly there's stuff that there's only like 1 or 2 on the census. Right. Like there's only, I think there's only like 3. Kyle might know the answer to this, but I think there's only 3 or 4 double action comics, #1 and #2 out there.
Okay.
And this guy had them. So this guy really did put a lot of time and effort and found a buttload of really good stuff over the years. I mean, I guess he's been collecting over 50 years, but just if I were an auction house, I would not want to handle this. So Ivan's house.
You better split them off. When you split them up into blinking lots, probably.
Well, that's what PBA is doing, and Ivan has his hands full, needless to say. But Ivan's kind of like, he's pulling a lot of people away from Heritage, which I think is good. Because Heritage is just they're one of those too big to fail companies, and when they fail, it's going to be horrible. But I mean, I like Heritage. Jerry Stefan's a friend of mine who works there. He handles a lot of the comics. I just it's crazy. I really do enjoy and appreciate a lot of things Heritage does, but they've bought out everybody, and so except for PBA, and so it's kind of hard to go anywhere and escape Heritage. So, I wish PBA a lot of success. Ivan's had an awful lot of success with ECs, with a lot of pre-code horror. So I do think he's going to have a really, really good turnout on this.
I've just looked it up. The bloke's name's Ian Levine. Apparently he was a British songwriter, producer, and DJ over the last 50 years.
Oh, is he the one? Ian Levine?
Ian Levine, apparently. That's the guy's name.
Wow.
This article I just found. I can't say I've heard of him. I'd know what he's done. It's this Northern Soul, not my kind of music.
Like what's he famous for?
Northern Soul music.
What kind of soul music?
Northern Soul. That's the name of the genre that he was known for. Northern Soul? Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Pardon
me. Blue-eyed soul, probably.
No, it's a British. It's north of Britain, I think. North of Britain soul. Let's look it up. Northern Soul is a music and dance movement that emerged in Northern England and the Midlands in the 1960s. It developed from the British mod scene, so it's not my kind of music. It's not headbanging.
So who are we talking about and why?
So this is the guy who owns this collection of every DC from 1934 or 35 to 2014.
He invested his net wisely, is what he did.
Well, yeah. I think he also came from money, which I mean that's nothing to dicker about. But no, he, quite frankly, But they've attempted to sell this collection at 3 other auction houses, but at the time he refused to separate it, so they had to sell. I mean, they wanted. I was telling Gray, they wanted something ridiculous, like I want to say almost like $500 million. I mean, it was a lot. It was more than 100 million, if I'm not mistaken. And the condition on some is lacking, but there's also a lot of pieces in there that there's only one or two on the census. So I mean, it's a huge collection.
According to Wikipedia, he sold it already, but it's now being resold by this PBA. So I think he must have sold it originally, and now someone else is PBA selling it.
Could be. Well, that's weird though, because Ian had to go to England and hang out with him to figure out pricing on it for a week and a half. So if he doesn't own it anymore, I'm surprised he's getting involved.
No, he doesn't own it anymore. No.
So I'll have to. I can ask Ivan. Ivan will tell me what's up. But we should. In fact, I think Ivan would probably come on the show and talk about it if we wanted him to. And a lot of the other stuff that he's auctioned off recently, because he auctioned off all of Steve Ditko's personal copies of Spider-Man, including Amazing Fantasy 15.
All right, cool.
So yeah, I'm pretty impressed that Ditko kept all those.
He threw away his own art, didn't he? Or he reused his own paper for his own art, they said.
You know what he did with the art to AF-15, right?
No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. But that's been verified by the family. A lot of people think he donated all the artwork from AF-15, the Library of Congress. There's some people who think it's Marie Severin.
Yeah.
Because she had access to it. That's probably not right either. It's probably the last person you would expect. It could even be Roy Thomas. You never know. I doubt it, but you never know. But whoever it was did it anonymously, and it should have belonged to Ditko in the first place.
Yeah.
Or at least 2/3 of it, as what used to be the rule. A third went to the writer and 2/3 went to the artist. But that's just crazy. But
what's the oldest comic book size comic you've ever seen?
What's that?
What's the oldest, like, modern format comic book size you've ever seen?
The largest?
The oldest.
The oldest, well, it would be tabloids from the 1800s. Oh, wow. Look at that.
1896.
Wow.
Says busy brownies, but there's a tear right there.
So it looks like bully brownies almost.
This is laid out a lot like.
That's actually the comic book format.
Yeah, it's the comic book format size. It's laid out just like Super Santa. It's pictographs. It's like a page of text, and then some imagery, and then text and imagery, and it's an advertisement piece, but it's also a comic.
That's awesome.
I am letting go of this.
You are?
I am letting go of this.
Who are you selling it to?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
I am also letting go of this since it's not official, but pretty much as far as comic characters go, the first that became licensed commodities on a large scale.
Wow.
Here's an 1895 Dance of the Brownies music sheet.
Wow.
A little bit of everything. So we got the advertising comics, the premium. How about between 1888 and 1898.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a trade card.
Wow. Pianos and organs. Prices and Baldwin.
Yep. D.H. Baldwin Company. This is a 130.
That's gorgeous.
130, 140-year-old trade ad. Now, what this is, because I've never, ever, 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 ever seen the individual issue of St. Nicholas magazine that this appeared in, because it came from February of 1883. But this is the first major comic character. That's their first official appearance. And their second appearance is in here too.
Wow.
Which again, it's text and illustration. This is where the Brownies began. And that has their first 2 full appearances in it. Never seen a loose magazine. I've only seen, to my knowledge, only 3 of these bound volumes are known. Doesn't paper turn to dust?
Janet, it depends on what's in the pulp.
Depends on if it's what it's made of and stuff. But
correct.
I know 3 bound. There's probably more, but I only know of 3 in existence in the world of any variation of this bound, with those first 2 appearances in it. It's a $1,000 book right here.
Who is Psychotron?
Huh?
We have someone here named Psychotron, and they said they came here for the Kyle Papa show.
Yeah, my personal collection. It goes on. Now, the level of popularity for these characters, you would think, okay, they started in the 1880s. They had a 6-issue run of 4 colors. Look, Walt Kelly even worked on it.
Yeah, Walt Kelly took them over. I knew that, actually.
So, and this is in the 40s and 50s. There's issue 192, a Dell 4-color. I had 5 of the 6. I've given away 2 of them. So now I'm down to 3 again.
Kyle, how many 4-color comics came out every month?
Who knows? They came out with 11,003 of them in like a 10-year time span now.
1,100, I think, not 11,000.
1,100, 1,103.
Yeah, but that's a lot. So I think it was as many
how
as
most
20,
comics
20
came
or
out
more.
in the 1880s.
I think at least as many as 20 or more a month.
Yeah, this is like 1901. The Brownies' Kind Deed. Very politically incorrect.
Well, I mean, but that's
But
the way
it meant something different.
Words go. Yeah, of course.
But this is a Donahue original first print of that. The first collected edition, the 1895 yearbook. That's the first collected edition.
Gray, you still with us?
And
yeah, I'm still there, mate.
Are you
giving
eating?
away? I given away all my 1888 copies, but here's the.
Oh, Psychotron knew Kyle from the Insomnia days.
Yeah, people know me from other things. This is a St. Nicholas magazine, still intact, from 1887, that has an early appearance. And then this one, though it's got some tape on it and things like that, is, as far as I know, the oldest known copy of a single issue. There are bound volumes that have them. But this is in 1885, October of 1885. Anybody want to do the math? That's 140,
138,
just under 100. Yeah, 138 years old.
Yeah,
and this has comic book relevance in it, and it has one of the original Brownies appearances. This is the oldest one of these I've ever seen still intact, not in a bound volume.
And that black and red is beautiful.
And they're out there in between. There are some out there, but as far as people having them, I haven't got a clue. I've never seen them. But yeah, that lot right there is probably between 1,500 and $2,000 worth without batting an eye.
What's that?
That group of stuff I just showed there is easily worth 1,500 to $2,000 without batting an eye.
Really?
Because it may well be the only one of its kind. It may be the only lot of its kind where it's got several single issues, the books. Individually, you might be able to find one of these for under $100. I don't know where you're going to find an 1885 for under $100, but you might find them. The individual books, you might find them under 50, depending on where you catch them. The sheet music, you might find it around 50 if you can catch it. The trade cards is non-existent. You're going to spend hundreds to find that. The individual ad book from 1896, that's a couple $100 if you can find it. And the bound volume, which again, if you can find it, you can find it. But it's all about finding it. That bound volume is $1,000 book. Just absolutely. That's why I said there's this.
It's great stuff.
Bare minimum $1,500 cash value, probably $2,500 trade value, but I'd settle for $2,000, sure. Or I'd settle all the way. Yeah, 1,500 cash, $2,000 trade. So if people wanted a collection that's just, I don't know if there's another one that exists like this.
We'll have to find out.
In the world. I mean, I've been researching for 25 years and putting this together for 25 years.
Where did you find these?
Everywhere.
Like
antique bookstores, comic shops, eBay, just everywhere. It took a lot of legwork to find them. I found decent deals here, figured out what I was looking at certain things. The stuff is ghost, and its relevance to comic book history cannot be overstated. So, massive historical significance.
Agreed.
So, but it literally would take somebody like me, I can serve them, I take care of them, but I'm a caretaker of them.
Amen.
You got to be a caretaker, not just a collector. You got to appreciate what it is, because again, I could just piecemeal this and never worry about it. Let this go for a couple hundred and go. But it's, who in the world would have that much? The trade cards, the sheet music, the advertisement stuff, the first full appearance. It'd take you 25 years to put this together, because it took me 25 years to put it together.
Hey, Kyle.
Man, I'm going to get this in the house.
Okay.
Smoke or anything.
So I hope everybody's having a good week so far. It's already Wednesday, so if you're not, you better catch up fast. We will have Nevs and Mark on the near future episodes. Mark is in a situation where he can't get cell service or very good cell service. Grant, of course, Gray, sorry, or Grant. I guess we can call, Graham, not Grant. I don't know why I called you Grant. But Gray, of course, is here. He looks a little like Hal from 2001, the way his icon is. But
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
That's why I love him, man. That's why I love this guy, or that guy. I don't know which direction I'm pointing. No. So, Gray, tell us a little bit about the cover slam, or the show you do on the weekends.
Cover slingers. Yeah, it's every
Cover
Saturday.
slingers.
Every
I'm sorry,
Saturday.
I always forget.
I tend to come along. Yeah. Yeah. And this week's theme's reflections. So I've got to check out some reflection covers.
So I guess it'd be time for everybody to whip out their infinity covers.
I don't know if that really counts as reflections.
That could be like a reflection, you know.
It'd be mirrors and stuff, I should think. But I don't get much time to go for my comics now because I'm at Legion most of the time. So I sort of literally run home on a Saturday, dig through boxes, find what I need, and then come back home.
Wow.
I'm going drag racing.
And Kyle's back.
My grandbaby's in there just being amazing.
Are you driving a drag racing car? It sounded like it.
What up, Callie? I got a neighbor with a hot rod.
She looks just like Kal until she grows hair.
She does, yeah.
Wonderful Callie. Callie is the reason I got my London Calling album framed up there. Callie sent me a London Calling album.
Oh, yeah.
So who's Callie Comics?
Badass dude from California.
Name? Callie?
Callie. We just go by Callie.
Callie's from California.
Okay, Callie.
Callie's his real name.
Any friend of Kyle's is a friend of mine, Callie's.
Callie's a good dude. Callie took care of a lot of people. He heard about what people liked. He said, all right, I'll send you something. He's like, that's cool. That's my
Callie. So.
Oh. I'm not going to go back in and get it, but I hope you saw my brownies collection. I was just pitching there, Callie, because I'm eventually going to let go of that, but it's going to take $1,500 cash or $2,500 trade.
So you know that the brownies were so popular in their day that, and the guy who created the brownies gave permission to where the brownies and the Girl Scouts have always been allowed to use any brownies artwork. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. But they don't do anything with it anymore.
Well, Palmer Cox, but again, that was 140 years ago.
Yeah, but it's still, they're still little.
Are they still? Are the characters still being used anywhere in modern day?
Well, the characters are probably far out of copyright and trademark protection.
Yeah, they're in some form or another. They're public domain now.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, you're just. There are older comic related books like. Bob would come on here and talk about, of course, Obadiah Oldbuck and then the Americans and then the older British stuff and things like that. But as far as where the Browns mascot, that may well be the original Browns mascot. But what I always say about the Brownies, if there were no Brownies, there would be no Our Gang, Little Rascals.
Really? Would you go that far?
There would be no Peanuts. All those things were influenced by it. The Little Rascals, literally, when they got put together, they said, we want the Brownies to do movie shorts. We want these impish little kids. They base Our Gang on the Brownies. Peanuts is massively influenced by the Brownies. You know, Charles Schultz wanted impish little kids. Now, granted,
Callie, I thought the Browns were named for a player, one of the first football
players. Paul
players.
Brown, the owner. They're named for Paul Brown. But he's talking about the mascot, the image. They had an impish little image way back when. And that
I didn't know that. Oh, okay. All right, I'll bite on that.
But yeah, I've got borderline the most extensive brownies collection to be had. Borderline. For being less than a dozen pieces. I mean, I could fill it up with better conditioned books. I could fill it up with different things, but the fact that
I wonder if those would be worth getting graded.
It'd be a cold day in hell before I'd ever send it in to grade them.
Well, I wouldn't trust them.
I wouldn't do it.
Nah, I'm with you.
But the provenance on my books is me. I'm the provenance.
You are.
Our gang gave us Tom and Jerry.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the famous Kal-El collection.
I mean, considering a dozen
From the
people
famous Papaw Kal-El collection, ladies and gentlemen.
A dozen people have tried to get me to write books on the subject, or at least co-author books on the subject.
Do it.
You know, no, hell no.
I mean, you give them like a $1,500, whatever. But is that just off the top of your head? Have you researched that? Have you seen any other sort of similar stuff going for that?
It literally creates the market. I gave prices individually. Like, you can find those books for around $100. You can find that advertising piece, maybe even in better shape, but you're going to drop a couple $100.
Wow.
You're not going to find that first appearance bound volume. You're not. Like I said, in 25 years, I've seen 3 of them. In 25 years, I've seen 3 in existence.
Is there a demand for them? Are they like known enough for people?
It is such a niche market. It has got to be. You got to be a conservator. You got to be a collector. You got to be a serious comic book aficionado to even want the stuff.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
And there's
everybody wants an Action Comics 1, but hell, I got a 1940 Superman candy coupon. I've got 1942 newspaper Superman, and yet you can get those for under $100, or the cards you can get for like under $700. But an Action Comics from the same time, and you're 6 figures.
Wow.
So from the exact same time.
Wow.
So it just depends on what it is, who you're talking to. But like, I could create the market for brownies, but its historical significance cannot be overstated.
No,
it can't be overstated. It was massively influential, and the most basic of homework, and you find out how big of an imprint it had. You know, you look up the Little Rascals, then you just research on the idea and the whole movie idea, the whole pitch idea.
Kyle, what's your favorite Little Rascals episode ever?
I don't even remember the names of them, but man, did I love Froggy. I mean, it has to be the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
See, mine is the
Fidgets. Has to be.
Mine is the Fidgets episode. Yeah. Remember that with the midgets, and they call them Fidgets, and the midgets are trying to blend in with them, and they're ripping off the rich people, and they go, "It's the Fidgets that did it." You don't remember that one? It's great.
We didn't do it. It's the Fidgets that did it.
What's that?
What happened?
So I've ever seen the Little Rascals episode.
Or Our Gang? Wow, man.
Yeah, we don't. You know,
I don't know why they changed the name to Little Rascals, but
you're gonna have to help me because
Well, it was both. It was Our Gang featuring the Little Rascals.
Oh, that's right.
Our gang was a lot of them. You know, what comic book relevance to some of the members of Little Rascals, you know?
Oh, well, Our Gang appeared in the MGM comics.
Yeah, but here's
and in Daredevil, they basically had their own Our Gang.
Who I don't want to give away too much here. But oh God, I'd give away too much. You know, everybody knows who Jackie Coogan is.
Who is?
Jackie Coogan.
Oh yeah, Coogan's Law. Coogan's Law was written for him because his parents absconded with all his money.
Yeah. But, you know, you got the kid who ended up being in Little Rascals. Damn it, I want to say Perry White was one of the Little Rascals from this 50s Superman show.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
I'm blanking on his name.
No. Butch was Jimmy Olsen. Butch from the Little Rascals was the original Jimmy Olsen in the serials.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was Perry White for some reason.
No. Perry White was probably still white-headed when their Little Rascals were out.
But yeah, one of Little Rascals was.
Yeah, it was Butch. Butch was the original Jimmy Olsen on the screen.
Yeah.
And then, what's the guy's name? I can't think of his name, but he did Jimmy Olsen in the 50s. But yeah, no, Butch. Yeah. Butch is the connection there, dude.
But the Brownies influenced all that. And just simple research, MGM basically said, we don't want to buy the rights to the Brownies. We want the Brownies in the serial format. What do we do? And they came up with Little Rascals. Charles Schultz has been quoted as saying, you know, who were your influences? Well, obviously the Bible and Palmer S. Cox. You know, who created the Brownies. They're
well,
just
he said that Crosby was his big influence. Percy Crosby, the guy who created Skippy.
Skippy. I got a Skippy card upstairs from 1933 too.
Wow.
Skippy was one. Henry was influential on that, which again, they're all bastardizations of these other things, but
exactly.
it started with the Brownies. You know, Skippy, Henry, all those impish little characters. Dennis the Menace owes his fame to the Brownies, because that's where that trend of impish little kids and sprites came from. And again, he probably bastardized the idea from something Dickens wrote and whatever.
Yeah, everything comes from everything. So
as far as putting it in comic-like format, and then just people lined up to do the art on them. I mean, they were in the 4-color and stuff. They were the hottest commodity. Walt Kelly said, "I want that." You know, well, if Walt Kelly says, "I want that," and then he turns around and makes Pogo, what is Pogo? The Brownies with cuter little animals on it.
Or like a Southern Brownies.
Yeah. Again, just impish little naivete, but, you know, getting in a little trouble and create characters. But again, you know, massively influential. And popular for over 100 years.
Yeah.
They saw print for over 100 years before it finally started waning. What has that kind of staying power?
Nothing.
Mickey Mouse, you know.
Kind
of. That's what we're at. Mickey
really.
Mouse.
They didn't make Mickey Mouse cartoons for like 40 years.
Yeah,
he was just an icon or a figurehead for so long.
But yeah, I mean, Disney just turned 100, and in 1928, Mickey Mouse turned, or in 1920. In 2028, Mickey Mouse turns 100. And it's still out there. So just to give you a concept of how big the Brownies were at a different time. So
no, absolutely.
But yeah, you can still get them 4 colors for like $30 to $50. You know, a beater copy of them for $30 to $50. Because I don't want high end. I don't want pristine mint any fucking thing in my collection.
Right.
Nothing. I don't want an unread comic book in my collection. I will take the graded ones I've traded for and things like that. But anything I have graded, I would prefer to have a loose copy of to be able to look at. Or at least a reprint.
Yeah.
You know, I got giant size X-Men 1 slab. No, I wouldn't open it if I had it. If I had it available. But I got plenty of reprints to look at, you know.
I had a kind of a time freak out today. I thought the Spider-Man musical came out just like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Well, no, it's been out for almost 15 years, and it ended in 2014. I had no idea. I mean, that when you get up to our age range, that's what happens is concept of like how many years ago something was. And I couldn't believe it's been that long ago. I have the soundtrack, and I listen to the soundtrack all the time because soundtrack was written by who, Kyle? Do you know?
Tim Rice, wasn't it?
Nope. It was written by Bono and The Edge.
Ah.
It's all super U2 sounding. I need to play sometime, but on the show. But the moment you hear it, you can tell it's freaking U2.
Yeah.
Even though they're not singing, but I think it lacked vision.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack was wonderful. It was basically a special effects kind of Broadway show. They poured $70 million into that baby, and
the concept was right, but pulling it off, and you can't cross-pollinate the nerd groups. I think it's absurd. You can't, but you can't.
No,
you literally can't. You can't mix comic book nerds with theater nerds. Now, there's cross-pollination in there because I was a theater nerd plus a comic nerd, but I was all on my own. I was the only theater nerd around that was a comic nerd, and then, I like Star Trek, but I'm not a Trekkie. But the biggest cliquish groups I've ever seen were Star Trek groups.
Oh, they're even bigger cliquish.
They'll take everybody Star Trek in with them, but if you're an outsider walking in, they click you.
Oh yeah, they haze the fuck out of you. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I'm gonna take a brief break to the loo, and I'll be right back.
I mean, I wish it could. Logic would dictate, the comic genre would mix over. It just doesn't. But hell, comics taught me to love Elvis Costello, classical music, Dante's Inferno, classical literature in general. That's where I got a hold of most of it, so I tie them together. But yeah, what do we got? An audience of 3 or 4 still. Callie, Sicko. So yeah, and I hope paper doesn't turn to dust after 224 years, because I have a lot of paper. I have 200-plus-year-old handwritten letters with wax stamps on them. Just one as usual. Oh, that must be my mom. All right.
Hi, Mom.
I don't know. I did baby show off. I actually showed off comic book stuff. We're about to hit an hour. Probably save Graham some time.
Yeah.
On his things, but I could talk comics. I go off on these tangents and talk 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. But I am not opening my channel again. It is never happening. If people want to see me, this is basically it.
This is it.
I might make appearances on
this. Is it. Yeah. Or this is it.
Yeah, I have no interest in trying to manage a channel. And
so I have this to show. This is one of the earliest EC checklists there were.
Yeah.
This is the second edition from the early 70s with a Jack Davis cover. And it's got everything you want to know about EC.
Hell, I'm about to let go of my ECs, and I'm about to let go of my Jack Davis autograph.
Well, we need to talk before you do that.
Mark's got dibs on my weird science. He wants that. My Jack
You don't have
Davis,
any Moon Girls, do you?
No. No, my Jack Davis autograph from 1977.
What's that on?
I'm going to let go of. It's an 11x17 lithograph with that Confederate general from EC Comics, Alfred E. Newman, and somebody else.
Oh, wow.
Like
I'm interested in that.
It says from your pal Jack Davis, and Jack signed it.
Well, because this year I talked on Jack Davis at Comic-Con. So I'm into the Davis mode right now. Big time.
I have a authenticated, certified Jack Davis autograph litho.
Wow.
But I'm breaking
I would
up that
like to
set
say today's episode is not really represented or sponsored by Purple Haze, but they could talk to us and we'd let them. Right, Kyle?
Yep. Yeah, that lithograph set
Kyle.
that comes from. That litho set that came from, I already gave away the Bernie Wrightson piece in it. It's got a Kaluta piece. It's got a Neil Adams Tarzan piece in it. It had a Bern Hogarth piece. I gave that away.
Hold on, let me find something real quick to show you. If I can find it easily, I don't know.
It had a Wally Wood print, though it wasn't signed by Woody. The Mutt Monster, Bernie Wrightson.
This is basically where whatchamacallit, where Swamp Thing came from. And can you see?
Is the first plate signed?
No, the right here is signed.
Okay.
And Bernie was a friend of mine. He moved to Austin actually, and they have all the plates in here are from that story.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful, of course. But I have this. It's huge.
I'd be
it's
hard
absolutely
pressed to
huge.
say.
It makes Super Santa look small.
Yeah.
That's how big.
Well, I mean, it's 11 by 17 portfolio, right?
Yeah, it looks even bigger than that. Well, no, you're probably right.
It's either 11 by 17 or 12 by 18. It depends on who put it out. But
it could be 12 by 18. But look at that Frankenstein-looking monster in there.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's kind of like debating the greatest band ever or anything. But as far as comic book artists go, especially detail-wise, who's above Wrightson?
No, and I'll give you an idea how that translates. Joe Jusko, who some people don't like Joe. I think Joe's work is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And in many ways, he was a precursor to Alex
Ross.
Yeah. But Joe's a friend of mine on Facebook, just the nicest guy. But who does he have October, or who's he presenting every day in October? Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah. Well,
because the greats love the greats. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's just I've heard too many of them say when they look at a Wrightson piece, I couldn't do that.
Right.
Frankenstein's lab piece that Wrightson
Oh
did,
my
everybody
God!
says the same
Nobody
thing.
could do that but Bernie.
I couldn't do that.
In fact, I think it's still the highest priced art for the genre. It went for $2 or $3 million.
Yeah.
The cover, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
It's too good.
It is.
I mean, he is
truly is.
If you talk Wrightson, you're talking Rembrandt. You know,
you're talking the comic book version of Rembrandt. Yeah, no, you are.
I mean, if you compare him,
everybody that was in the studio, though, you have Mike Kaluta, you have Bernie Wrightson, you have Jeff Jones, who is a personal. Catherine Jeffrey Jones was a personal mentor to me. Catherine knocked it off the charts.
Unbelievable talent. She never thought so. Mike Kaluta, unbelievable talent. And if you say it to him, he's like, "Oh shucks, you know, I'm okay."
No, Mike Kaluta is one of the most down to earth, and so is Bill Sienkiewicz. He wasn't in the studio, but he just barely missed it. He probably would have been included had he been old enough. But I'm in awe of these guys.
That studio, as far as I'm concerned, and none of them would say it either. It put EC's stable to shame to have that studio guys, because EC had a stable like that, and I think those guys were better. Now, none of them would admit that. Not even Jeffrey Catherine Jones. She wouldn't admit it. She knew she was good at painting.
She was extremely not affected by the press of her artwork. She thought, I mean, she knew she had talent, but she wasn't verbose or weird about it. I mean,
but
she honestly was so sweet to me. I can't thank her enough in heaven. But
I'd put those 4 artists up against any 4 artists, any genre, any format.
Well, the people they're most like are the greats, like the EC artists. I mean, they really have that kind of. I mean, they're as good, if not better than the EC artists, and that tells you a lot right there.
I mean, and everybody looks up to the EC stable because Jesus, what talent they had in one little place.
Absolutely.
But then Marvel pulled it off. A lot of people don't give him credit, but in the mid-'70s, Marvel pulled that off.
Absolutely.
Marvel's stable in the mid-'70s was just, for its time, the best that was there.
Yep.
The best that was there.
You open
one book and it's John Buscema. You open another book, it's John Byrne. You open another book, it's Neil Adams. You open it, it's just bam, bam, bam.
Well,
heavy hitter
their horror books would not have been what they were if not for Mike Ploog. Mike Ploog doing so much great work back then.
Mike Ploog, yeah, just
phenomenal. He was very much like Jack Davis too, if you think about it. He just, in fact, Bernie Rice I don't know if he did very much for Marvel at all. I did quite a bit for DC, of course, but I don't even know if.
One guy I'd really love to check on, a 70s artist who is grossly underrated. Went by Michael Nasser to start, but it's Mike Netzer. And
Mike is great. He's
an old bearded guy he's doing portraits in Israel walking around right now. I want to know if he's doing okay, but I mean, he lost his mind. But that Detroit contingent that came down with Orzechowski and Starlin and
was Mike part of that group? Mike Netzer?
Yeah. Netzer was a big part of that.
He did another version. He did that Hulk Saving the Whales cover, and he did a redo of it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I wish I had bought it from him, but
I want to go.
He's a super nice guy.
I talked to him a couple times over, and it's like, I want nothing more than to go sit he does street portraits for like $20. And it's like, I just want to come over there and sit and have you do a street portrait of me.
Well, he lives in Israel, so it's going to be kind of hard, but.
Yeah, and he's just walking around there, and
we need to check on him.
But I mean, he lost his shit. He had some fights with people, temperamental artist shit. I mean.
Yeah, but he's the nicest guy in the world. I find it hard to believe that he was truly at fault for all that.
Any mood swings, it's.
I don't know. I love Mike.
I don't want to put labels on anybody, but anybody knows the artist world, the writing world. So many of those people could be, if they aren't already, diagnosed as. They'll have mood disorders. They'll have.
I think the majority of us, the majority of us in the industry have.
Why am I drawing a blank on the big one? The when you're happy one minute and sad the next. And
bipolar.
Kind of bipolar, but that's not the one bipolar is not quite what I'm looking for. But it is, but it isn't. But it's the artist temperament. I mean, they've had a name for it.
Well, I mean, and the one noted for that the most, who's always been great to me, is Steve Rude.
Steve Rude, yeah.
He and Mike Barron. Yeah. Both friends of mine.
But yeah, I mean, it's just the artistic temperament. If you've been around it long enough, they're shy, they're humble, they're OCD, they have their little quirks and affectations.
But don't we all? I mean,
who knows how many? But the grander of an artist you are, be it a musician or a writer or an artist, pencil artist or a painter.
Well, I mean, look at Kurt Cobain.
On some kind of, they're always on some kind of spectrum.
Yeah.
Musicians are math geniuses. Math geniuses are definitely on some kind of spectrum.
Yeah.
They're on something. And the more intense they are, the more shy they are, the more reserved they are, but the more passionate they are about their artwork. And again, it's been called the artist temperament. It's had names for 1,000 years.
But I think the guy with the biggest ego, and he proved it last week, is freaking Rob Liefeld, who has nothing to really be proud of. But I don't mean it mean towards him, but he's never done anything that I've even thought was close to the people we've just been mentioning.
He's like he's like a in-house cartoonist or something. That's fairly basic. But
but he's not even as good as like a George Tuska. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah,
Kyle.
the greats, we're talking greats, not the average or anything.
Right,
like
right. But last week, Liefeld said, "You can hold my Wolverine up against the best." No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. And no offense to him, I'm glad he got lucky enough to be there at the right time to draw the first Deadpool, because he says he co-created. He didn't co-create. The costume was already decided on. A lot of things were already. He just had to draw.
And it's common knowledge. They stole Deathstroke the Terminator.
Well, no shit.
They stole it.
Well,
Slade
no,
Wilson,
no,
Wade
no,
Wilson.
no.
They stole
No,
the name.
Worse than that. They stole Ambush Bug.
Yeah, and they
Ambush
stole
Bug.
They mixed the two up. Yeah, they mixed the two up, made it.
Yeah.
But again, Liefield's down here, Byrne is up here. The people we're talking about are off the charts up here. Like Wrightson, the best thing Byrne ever did. Wrightson threw away on bar napkins.
Down where our plumbing is.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to them.
Wrightson threw away doodles on bar napkins that puts any.
No shit, and another one is Bill Stout. Oh my God,
Bill Stout's amazing.
Bill Stout is amazing. Well, I guess.
And there's another cartoonist in the cartoon genre, in the silly genre, in modern times. I'd put Hillary Barta in that group, but every time I said it to him, he'd say, "Shut the hell up."
Well, yeah, but Hillary has humility, so Hillary's a wonderful person.
To have his name mentioned in greats, he'd just be like, "Shut up, don't even."
Yeah,
because he has that great appreciation for him.
He doesn't want to hear your shit. He didn't want to hear your hero worship.
And that's why I love the guy. I'd love to have him on again.
Oh no, me too.
But I just hit him with platitudes and just be like, "Dude, your stuff is so fun." He's just fun.
Another guy who never gets the recognition he deserves is Kerry Gamble.
Oh God, yeah. Really. Kerry Gamble I put in like the John Buscema level, and people think that's nuts, and it's like, no, because he was that good. Look at his run on Power Man.
He idolized Buscema, so all his stuff did have that Buscema feel.
I would put Kerry Gamble in there with John Buscema all day long. All day long.
No, and I agree. And they have that fucking macho feel that I don't know, it's like, and the women are women and the men are men. And I don't mean that against anyone who is LGBTQ or anything. I just mean standardly the men figures and the women figures look like they almost are
Conan and Red Sonja,
scale.
and then busty women, but not the bazookas, but busty.
Yeah,
The Playboys. They drew Playboy centerfolds. They didn't draw like balloon animals.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Quality. All right. Well, we're at an hour and 15. Let's let Graham off the hook because again, we open this thing up and I just keep talking for days. So.
You ready to go?
Yeah. Just thank you, everybody came along. Glad you got to see
Love
my
you guys.
grandbaby.
Thank you for everything you do for us. Thank you for always being here for us. We will see you next week. Live long and prosper. I can't do it on this hand for some reason today. I guess arthritis. But we love you guys. Kyle, I love you, brother. See you, pal.
Too.
Have a good one, guys. See y'all next week.
Take care.
Adios.
Night, G. All right, Gray's there. So, hey, lots of love to you and the missus, Graham. Hope y'all doing good. I'm going to ride it out till the live sign cuts off, and then I'll say good night.